You are about to find out 12 habits that profoundly transformed my health and my body. And I know that at least one of them will be controversial. And I want to share all of them anyway, because they took my body from a state that I was feeling just tired and weak and getting sick at least 4 times in a year. For a couple of years later, feeling strong and doing bodybuilding and winning athletic competitions and feeling energetic all the time. So let's jump straight into it. I will start with morning habits, because I believe that if you win the morning, you win the day. And the morning starts with waking up regularly, but without an alarm clock. What most people do is that they have already a regular schedule, wake up every day at the same time on weekdays. But then on the weekends is a different time. And what happens there is that you have the effects of a jet lag without really having traveled. So your energy is low, your mood may be lower, even your digestion and blood sugar control is impaired. So I want to ask you, do you already have this habit that you're waking up regularly every single day, including weekends? If so, let me know in the comments. And you can see from previous videos that I go to personally to all comments to answer them. I really want to know, because this is probably the hardest habit, but also the number one that I recommend to people, because it changes your energy for the day. It regulates your circadian rhythm. And it's not only about waking up every day at the same time, including weekends, but also without an alarm clock. So you want to go to bed early enough so you wake up naturally at the time that your body needs to wake up every day. From there, my next habit is to hydrate my body. And my question for you is, what is better to hydrate your body with than water? And the answer is water plus electrolytes. So instead of just having a big glass of water, I fill up this whole glass and I add some pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt to the water. Because drinking water brings fluid to your bloodstream. But what takes that fluid to inside the cells are the electrolytes that are inside and outside of the cells. And this is what I get from the salt. After this, the next habit, the third habit, is to do some mindfulness practice. And lately has been yoga under the sun. So here, there are 2 birds with 1 stone. Yoga in the morning to me is working with the body, is doing some movement-based mindful practice, but also bringing the breath together with it. Next, the other habits are about movement, about using the way that I use my body. And the first one is that I stay active throughout the entire day. I find ways. I work standing. So here's is more or less the position where I put my laptop. At home, I put a cardboard box and my laptop on top, and I work standing. And I have an alarm clock on my phone every 2 hours. And when it goes off, I do a couple of push-ups or pull-ups to keep my body active. And I take the stairs, and I'm always finding ways to keep my body in movement, because our bodies are designed to move. They are not designed to stay sitting the entire time. And with this comes the next habit, is that I find opportunities to walk throughout the day. And all the things that I can do while walking, I do so. All the calls that I have in meetings online, I do them while walking. Most of my creative work, I found out that when I need to come up ideas for videos or to solve difficult problems, my mind flows even better when I'm walking. So I walk with a voice recorder on my phone, and it's even more productive than when I'm standing in front of my computer back home. So I find these opportunities, and at the end of the day, it's easy to finish a day with 15,000 steps. And a lot of people say, wow, but you must make so much effort during the day, to take care of your nutrition and exercise and be active. And the answer is actually no. The effort that I made is to build the habits, and then you let them run the show. So you build your habits, that's where you put your effort, and then you outsource your success to them. And with this comes the next habit, that is strength training with heavy weights. I have here a kettlebell, but I also use dumbbells, barbells, and machines. But the main point here is the strength training, and this is so bold to transform your health in your body. That's probably my number 2 habit. Number 1 being these waking up regularly. Because this helps me develop muscle mass. And we know that muscle mass is not only about the way that your body looks, but when you develop your muscle mass, you have a cascade effect in other systems of your body. Imagine that you own a factory and you wanted to optimize this factory. You can do many things. You can optimize your marketing, your communication, your HR processes. You can save energy. But if you optimize the one main thing that is your manufacturing process, everything else gets better because that's your main thing. For our bodies, muscle mass play more or less a similar role. One of the main functions of the muscle of the human body is to be able to move around, and this is done by our muscle mass. So if you optimize your muscle mass, all the other systems, digestion and nervous system and everything else gets optimized as well. The next habits are about nutrition, and the first one is intermittent fasting. So I have this empty plate here because every day I fast for at least 16 hours. There are times of the year during Ramadan, for example, that I'm fasting for 20 hours, but most of the times I'm fasting for 16. Sometimes I do my fasting in the morning, sometimes I do my fasting in the evening. This changes, but what is constant is that I always do some form of intermittent fasting. This helps me burn fat, this helps me keep my energy up, this helps me develop discipline, have a routine around my nutrition, and also experiment different physiological signals of the body. Sometimes you experience hunger in a mindful way instead of freaking out when it shows up. And then when it's time to eat comes the next habit, that is that I cook my food. I want to make sure that I can choose the ingredients, that I can choose what my body is made of, the composition of what I bring inside. And you know, when you go eating out, the whole business of eating out and food delivery is not concerned about your health in the first place. They are concerned about you ordering from them again. So the priority is to put ingredients that prioritize the palatability of the food instead of how good it is for you. And also to have ingredients that are cheaper so they can have more profit. So it's very common to find sugar and vegetable oils everywhere that you go, even when you don't think that food could have it. So I want to make sure that I give my body the best. I honor my body with the food that I give to it. And so most of the times I'm preparing my own food so I can have the control of what I bring to myself. And the plus side to this is that at some point you become good at it. And now when I go eat out, sometimes it's a disappointment because the food that I make at home is so much better. And then, when I'm cooking, comes the next habit, that I make sure that every meal is based on protein. So here I have a plate full of protein, so my meal can have more things, but if there's no protein, there's no meal. Because this makes sure that I have, this is supporting my muscular development from the strength training. This is also supporting different functions of my body. All the enzymes and a few hormones are made of protein. We talked about all the effects of the protein has in your body. There's a previous video that if you want to know more, you can click somewhere on the screen. You go there and find all the benefits of having protein in every single meal. And then comes the next habit, that after the meal is ready, when I eat, I sit down and only eat. I don't watch TV, I don't do work, I don't listen to a podcast or to an audiobook. I honor my food and I honor my body when I'm eating. I do this mindfully. I either eat in silence or I eat and have a meaningful conversation with someone that I'm sharing a meal with. So now you excuse me, I'm gonna take care of this plate of protein. The next 2 habits are meta habits because they make all the others be better. The first one is that I track what is important. And I track biomarkers. So I track my body weight, my body fat percentage, my waistline. I track my training, my strength, and how much my training is progressing over time. And I also track my food. And I know that this is something that some people don't agree with or may be a little controversial, and it's something that I don't recommend to everyone unless you want to treat your body as an athlete, to go to the highest level of performance, if that is important to you. But I tell you one thing, I have learned more about the nutritional density and richness of my food, or finding potential nutritional deficiencies and what types of food are optimal for my body. I learned more about this with tracking my food than I learned anywhere and everywhere else, because that lets me quantify and know how I optimize my nutrition to the things that my body does. And the last one, the last habit, is that I need ways of learning more. So I always use podcast playlists, and in my case I use Spotify to learn more about a specific area that I want to improve. The way that I do this is that every week I have a theme that I immerse myself into. So for example, let's say that I want to learn more about intermittent fasting this week. What I do is that I type intermittent fasting on a podcast platform like Spotify, and I create a playlist with all those podcasts, and then I go for walks. Or when I'm cooking, I'm listening to this podcast. Whenever I have the chance, when I'm commuting, I listen to them. And for a whole week, I'm immersed in that topic. And I get a breadth of knowledge. And after that week, I will know the names of the authors who I want to buy their books and learn more in depth. I will learn the names of the programs, of the courses that I can go in depth. If you are exercising for 1 hour a day, my recommendation is that you exercise for 50 minutes. And then 10 minutes you use to learn about exercise. If you want to improve your sleep, you need to have some time in the week that you're learning more about it, so you can always perfect your practices. And now we can dive deeper. In the next video, I'm gonna talk to you about the habits that are associated to burning belly fat. And there are, we can talk about eating habits, cooking habits, exercise habits, and I want to know from you which is the area that you want to take a deep dive into. So I will get those things and zoom in and explore one specific area, habits in one specific area in an upcoming video. Let me know in the comment. And if you like videos like this, subscribe and hit the bell button, so when the next videos come out, you will know. I see you in the next video. But it's you. I cannot bring the plate again, right? The food there. Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, that was very smooth.